Hello everyone and welcome back. Well, I kind of want to get these old battles I have laying around out of the way before I really continue. I haven't played too much recently, so this will be an older battle. I hadn't quite hammered out my range setup. I was still experimenting with matchlocks. So let's look at my setup real quick. It's my standard 6 Katana Samurai, 2 Yari Samurai, 2 Yari Cavalry, and the range is a little different. 1 Bow Samurai, who's at only 66 men because he's hurt, and then 2 Matchlock Ashigaru. The other guy will reveal his force shortly, so I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I just want to hit on my starting position real quick. Notice that I started my guys bunched up all the way on the far side of the deployment area. That's obviously because they're right here next to this little island that has 2 buildings on it, and I wanted to make sure I either captured them or at least deterred the enemy from getting them. And as you can see, he started his men towards the middle. Should have thought about the buildings maybe and put them over on the right, so I'm going to have an advantage in getting there first. I'm going to be able to hold this ground and be the person who has the first dibs on these buildings. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, his setup is now visible, so we'll take a look at it. His cavalry is a Great Guard and a Yari Cavalry. His bows are 2 Bow Warrior Monks. Then his infantry is 4 Katana Samurai and 1 Naginata Warrior Monk. So he's put his forces way on the quality end as opposed to quantity. So this will be a tough battle. Since I had the deployment advantage here, I'm able to take this island before his forces can really get there, and this cavalry will be here to deter any action that comes up on it. So he's going to come up, and obviously the skirmishing is going to be the first thing that happens. So let's look at ranged advantages. He has a huge ranged advantage. My only really long-range unit is this Bow Samurai, who only has 66 men. These Matchlock Ashigaru have to be obviously really close to the enemy to shoot. So his Bow Warrior Monks with their extremely long range have a big ranged advantage, so I'm going to have to be really careful in how I do this. Especially because this cavalry is over here on this flank, and they're going to make things really hard for my skirmishers. So how do I do this? Alright, first thing, I'm going to dismount and just try and take this shrine, or at least get some progress on it. Maybe put some pressure on the enemy to attack. So he's going to come up. He's already shooting at me. Look at that range. And my bows aren't there to help him right now. I have my matchlocks out to kind of discourage any initial action, but the Bow Warrior Monks are really taking it to me. So I'm bringing up my Bow Samurai post-haste to kind of skirmish. So, okay, why am I skirmishing when I have such a range disadvantage? Well, he's going to pull his men back into this forest. I knew he was going to do it. So I might as well have had my bows do as much damage early as possible before they pulled back to this forest. Because look where he is. If he meant on fighting here, he would have moved up towards this sword dojo. Kind of taking it, but he's sitting here right on the precipice, just on the beach. He wants me to come across and attack him in the forest, which actually is not a bad place for me to attack, but I'll get to that later. Right now, we just have some skirmishing. I've barely touched his monks. He's lost 5 men total. I've lost quite a bit more, so I start pushing up to get him out of this area so I can control this whole island and take this building right here. The sword dojo is going to be pretty important if I try to attack. Normally I try and take the production building, but since it's way over here all alone, I had to forsake it. The enemy will end up getting it, which actually helps me. Actually, leaving it not captured really actually ended up helping me. I'll get to that later, but right now let's talk about the cavalry action. I had a little couple glitches with my cavalry. They just kind of stopped at a few points, and I wanted them to hit those bows, so they could have taken a lot more damage than they did. See, there he goes again, getting stuck. Not sure why. So my cavalry ends up barely touching his Bow Warrior Monks, which, boy, a waste of a cavalry action. Could have been a lot better, but I'm not sure why it glitched up like that. So in the meantime, I'm going to hit his Bow Warrior, or his Naginata Warrior Monks with my General, and my Bow Samurai as well. So get their numbers down early. That's a good thing. Naginata Warrior Monks are scary. I want to take them out of action. So his cavalry's going to chase mine off. I had a perfect opportunity to kill his General right here. I mean, look, he's all alone, and I was too busy doing other things, and I didn't notice it until it was too late. A really bad missed opportunity there. Could have ended this battle right there, but it was not to be. Wasn't going to get off that easy. So here we go. I'm going to have some last-ditch skirmishing. So, still skirmishing now, because I might as well hit them when they're out in the open, because when he moves out in the forest, my ranged units aren't going to be able to do crap. So, I'm just using them while they're useful. Hitting his Naginata Warrior Monks and his bows, just to take their numbers down, because his bows will still be able to fire out of the forest pretty well. I'm not going to be able to fire into it very well. So just thinning him out as much as possible. I think I was concentrating on the Naginata warrior monks. So look at this. Shows you how weak Naginata warrior monks are to missile attacks. He's already down to 78 men in this Naginata troop. His bows are down to about 2/3 strength. Yeah, they both have about 50, 60 men. So that leaves this island completely in my control. So I'm going to capture the sword dojo and the shrine, and have a big advantage here on this attack. Now, my infantry has a big advantage. 6 Katana Samurais versus 4 Katana Samurai and a half-strength Naginata Warrior Monk. I have a pretty sizable infantry advantage. So my Yari Samurai are going to be dedicated to anti-cavalry action, especially because he has a great guard. Scary stuff. At full strength, too. His cavalry is at full strength, so my spears ought to be very careful to watch that great guard. But attacking this position actually was very good for me. So while there's the last second skirmishing going on, I'll talk about this position. The battle's going to end up right here, right in front of this tree line. This is actually the perfect place for me to fight. It seems like a very strong defensive position, you know, attacking across a river into the trees. But it's not. It actually works out in my favor because he's going to pull his bows back into the tree where the trees will later be near useless. Only a few of the arrows are going to get out of the forest, plus shooting over their own men. They're not going to be able to do anything to me. And his cavalry is going to be near useless too, because their only avenue to get a real charge is right here along the beach. If he tries to flank me and go around the back, his charges are going to be severely reduced in strength because of the water. So I actually have a very protected position here, and them moving slowly in the water makes it easier for my spears to react. So this is going to be a great place for me to attack. See, don't rely on these cliches. Sitting here in the forest, making him cross the river sounds very defensive, but it's actually pretty good for me, the attacker. So be careful of where you put your guys. So my matchlock's going to get one volley off before they shatter. Good for them. They were at least able to do some damage to the enemy. This is kind of where I started getting disillusioned with matchlocks. I know most people say conserve them and use them to flank and hit weak spots, but not really my style of the matchlocks. So I kind of stopped using them. I still bring one to the battle usually, but not two. I don't do that anymore. Okay, so here's the fire attack. Just trying to do some last second damage to the bows, might as well. They're down to about half strength. That's when he sends his Yari cavalry over to get this production building. And that's going to be great, because he's going to have only one cavalry now. So I have a cavalry advantage, having 2 against his 1. Even though they're great guard, I think I still have an advantage, because I can use 1 to tie him down, while the spears get over there to start massacring them, and the other Yari cavalry can go around and hit their flanks or attack their general. I do have him end up attacking the general. Ends up being pretty important. So he's got his warrior monks out here in the front line. Katana's in the back. He's going to make his warrior monks take the brunt. Not really a good idea, though. Warrior monks have such low defense and armor, you don't really want them taking the brunt. You want to kind of conserve them and use them as reserves to kind of try and hit the flanks or an area where they have a big advantage, and use that war cry to hurt their morale. So now I have both buildings here on this island. So I'm going to be attacking soon. I'll speed it up because nothing's really happened. Yeah, so here I go. I go now because I want to do it while this cavalry is way over here and irrelevant to the battle. And especially before they capture the production, or the workshop over here. I don't know why I keep saying production. But the armor and the defensive buffs from this workshop come into effect. Need to hit him before that. So here we go. He's got his great guard here. I'm going to take some pot shots at him with my general. Kill a couple of them. Hey, every dead guard counts. So here we go, going across the river. His missile units are going to be completely ineffective shooting from the trees. So I actually have a pretty safe avenue of attack. My back is covered by this river. The forest will nullify the cavalry. So his cavalry is basically useless. Mine sort of is too, but as long as I can use him to hit the general, or at least scare him by getting around behind him, that's all I really need. So my cavalry is pretty hurt. One's down to 32, one's down to 47. So maybe I don't exactly have a cavalry advantage, but all I need is to send the weaker one to hold down the great guard, while the spears can charge in and kill him. The other one can be free to mess with them however they want. So here's the battle being joined. Good move, keep the warrior monks back and bring them in a little later on reserve. Great Guard are going to come out, but their charge isn't going to be very good through the water. They're extremely slow through the water. So look at this charge. Isn't going to kill anybody. The charge did not kill a single one of my cavalry. That's how bad cavalry are at charging through the water. So my other cavalry is going to take this time to go and hit their general. The spears are also going to collapse in, kill this great guard. Because once this great guard is dead, I have the infantry advantage, His missile units are basically irrelevant. I'm going to win this battle if I neutralize his cavalry. That's his only chance with this Great Guard. So here come the spears. I sent him around to kind of flank, but it was kind of a bad move. I should have maybe just sent him in right away. So here we go. This katana was on reserve and is now ready to attack the heart of their troops, which he will do shortly. Now see, I sent him in here. I maybe should have sent him over here towards the general. So I was attacking the heart of their army. But, you know, still an okay move. I was going to rout this katana samurai. They're already down to 32 men. The production building is captured, but he is not moving back yet. Must have been too busy here worrying about his Great Guards and such. His Great Guard is down to 32 men. Did well there. Should have sent my katanas back because they weren't going to do much against a Great Guard. So my Yari cavalry was hitting his general pretty hard. His general's down to 15 men. Mine is still full at 30. Now notice where I'm putting my general right up here with the infantry. But keep him safe, but close. So the Yari, bad move to send the Yari in to fight here. I should have maybe sent one, but I sent them both, and so now his Great Guard's going to have easy movement and access to the rear of my army. So I should have sent this Yari samurai and just had him on guard to guard against the Great Guard. So his bows aren't even shooting, interestingly. See, they're kind of useless here in the forest. My bow samurai are, though. They're going to take a couple shots into the enemy. Hey, why not? And there they go. I should have had him moved up a little earlier. So here comes the Great Guard. No, I'm going to do something I wouldn't normally recommend. I use my general here to block the charge. A very risky move, but I didn't want him slamming full force into my katana samurai. And I figured with the water penalty to the charge, it wouldn't hurt my general too bad. It ended up hurting him pretty bad, though. I lost about 15 men. But I did break the charge. Great Guard's going to get bogged down. And this wing is collapsed. All the katanas are dead here. So everybody over here is just going to move in and join the battle. Spears are going to come hit the Great Guard. I leave my general here in melee combat. Bad idea. I should have pulled him out. Why risk him at this point? I've got the battle pretty much won. That's when he finally thinks of moving his Yari cavalry over. So they're going to be a factor now. He ends up wasting them, though, because he's going to run them just straight into my spears, and that's not what you want to do. His avatar is in combat. 11 men left in the unit. He is still alive, though. There he is. Let's see if he dies. Oh, yep. There he goes. General is gone. But they end up standing and fighting pretty well. I mean, they're wavering, but they still end up standing fine. You think they would have all shattered being completely surrounded, but they don't. Not sure why. Maybe the monks were inspiring them. Maybe the Great Guard. Not sure. So the bows are finally going to move up. A little late, but whatever. So his last chance is with the cavalry charge here, right into my rear. But unfortunately for him, it's right into Yari Samurai. And so that's not going to work out well for him. I see the charge coming and run my Yari right into his cavalry too to meet him. And they're going to get shattered very soon. They lost 8 men. I didn't lose anybody. They lost more men in that charge than I did. The Yari running out to meet him didn't lose a man. And his Yari cavalry is going to get cut down there. So sorry for that abrupt end. I didn't realize the battle would be ending that quickly. I still had a lot to say. So why did that battle turn out like it did? He thought he was pulling back into a very defensible position, you know, sitting in trees across a river. But just like in my other camper videos, strong positions may be deceiving, because that ended up being very good for me. Attacking across the river covered my flanks and my rear from cavalry charges. The forest made his very powerful bow warrior monks unable to really be useful at all. So my infantry was really the only thing that mattered, and I had the infantry advantage, so I ended up winning. So don't be afraid to attack, even if the position seems strong, because it worked out good for me. So thanks for watching, everybody.